Hello, welcome to Mom's Kitchen, and tonight we're making eggplant rolatini. And the first thing that we have to do is we need to prepare our main ingredient, the eggplant. So what I've done is I've trimmed off the top and the bottom of all my eggplants, and then what I need to do next is just cut a little bit off the bottom so it will lay flat on my cutting board. I'm going to do that for each piece here. And then, after they're all laying flat on the board, what I'm going to do is cut about 1/4 inch slices, because you want to make them thin so that when you bake them in the oven, they come out and they'll be soft and you can roll them like lasagna. And you have to be careful not to cut your fingers. Notice how I'm keeping them behind my knife. I think the last piece is going to be tricky. We're going to leave that to the side. So once I finish cutting my slices, I'll be right back and we'll go to the next step. We have all of our eggplant cut. We want to put them on our baking sheets. We want to line them with some parchment paper and then just kind of fill in and lay them flat. And hopefully have enough room to fit them all. If not, it's okay to kind of get them a little bit closer together. And then what we're going to do, once we have them on the tray, is take your olive oil, and what we're going to do is drizzle it on top. It might be a little tricky, so I just kind of put my thumb over the top and drizzle the olive oil back and forth on top of all the eggplant so they don't dry out when they're in the oven. And then once we have the olive oil drizzled on top, what we're going to do is you can take any type of Italian seasoning or Italian herbs that you have and sprinkle those on top. And if you put a good amount on each, that'll be even better. It'll give it more flavor. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure we cover all of our pieces. We're also going to check that our oven is set at 350 degrees and that it's ready to go. Once the oven's ready, our eggplant's set to go, we're going to put it in the oven, and it's going to be in there for 20 minutes. And we're just going to leave it in there, set our timer for 20 minutes. While we're waiting for the zucchini to finish baking in the oven, I started making the filling, which has 2 cups ricotta cheese, 3/4 cup mozzarella, 1/4 cup Parmesan, and 1 egg. So we're going to start with that and just make sure we mix it up really well. And as we mix our ingredients, there are still a couple more things that we want to add. So I'm just going to mix this a little bit more. We're going to also add the zest of 1 lemon. So that means it's just going to be the yellow part that we're going to grate in there for extra flavor. You want to make sure you don't get any of the white stuff underneath, because that's really bitter and that won't taste good. So I'm just going to go around the lemon, and you can see the yellow peel is grated and it's in the mixture. Okay, so once we finish with the lemon, I think we pretty much got it all at this point. You want to check that you get the rest off with your finger. We also want to put in about a handful of fresh chopped parsley. That'll give it some really good freshness. Okay, so again, we're going to just mix it, blend it really well. This is going to fill inside our eggplant, the individual rolls. And then we're also, the last ingredient, we're going to add just to what we like our taste, I'm going to shake a little salt and pepper, because I think every recipe can always use some salt and pepper for extra flavor. Alright, so we finished our mixture and we're going to just wait till our eggplant's ready to go. Hi again. We're going to check now to see if our eggplant's ready. It has a nice golden brown color and it's softer. So that means we can take it out. We're going to have to let it cool a little bit before we're actually going to handle it and roll it with our filling. So we're going to take those trays out and leave our oven on. And just kind of set them to the side right now to let them cool off a little bit. And of course, with every good meal, we want to have a glass of wine. I've chosen a Cabernet, and I've already used my fun little gadget to take the top part off. And we're going to make it easy. We have these rabbit ears that should let us easily clamp down on the bottle. You bring it forward and pop the cork right out. See how easy that was? And then, of course, your favorite wine glass nearby. And you can just smell the grapes as you pour it out. And that's about the right height right there. And we're ready to take a sip. Now we're ready to keep on cooking. Alright, now that we're almost done, we've got our last eggplant that we've rolled. We put the mixture inside. We're making sure they're lined up in our baking dish. The next thing that we're going to do is we got to make sure we cover them with a little bit of sauce. So I'm just going to cover each one with, I'm using a marinara sauce. We're going to keep this dish meatless. You probably could use a meat sauce if you wanted to. This will help make sure our eggplant doesn't dry out and adds more yumminess. Once we get the sauce on top, we'll have to bake this at 400 degrees for 25 minutes. But before we stick it in the oven, there's one more thing that we have to put on top. And this ingredient that we're going to put on top is the best ingredient ever. In every recipe, you have to have some cheese. So we're going to top them with some mozzarella cheese. Doesn't that look good? It almost looks like it could be Mexican enchiladas, but this is more of an Italian dish, eggplant. And a really great filling with ricotta and other cheeses. This is going to make it yummy and gooey. So let's get it on top of our other dish here. Make sure they're all covered. Our 400 degree oven's ready to rock and roll. And we're ready to put it in. So we're just going to open the oven, put this in carefully, and we're going to go back. We're going to close the door and set our timer for 20 minutes, or 25 rather, and then we'll go back to enjoying our glass of wine until it's ready. Well, as you can see, the Rolatini is done, and all the cheese has melted, and everything looks really yummy. So we're ready to eat with a side of pasta, and we're all done. Please enjoy.